When it comes to teenagers, people who are outside of that age range just don't get it. Often adults don't understand what teens are going through and can't even begin to get a grasp on the lingo. You won't believe what common things all teens know to be true that you might have missed. Are you new here? Don't forget to give this video a giant thumbs up and subscribe for more. Now, here are 10 things only teenagers will understand. Phones are life. Adults are always talking about how today's generation is always on their phones. Many adults actually set restrictions for their kids and teens on how much phone use is acceptable. But what parents just don't get is that for teens, phones are an important connection to the outside world. They are like a lifeline to civilization. Whether you are stuck at your grandma's house for dinner or in the middle of a boring meeting that your mom dragged you to, a phone can provide instant entertainment. Besides, without a phone, how are teens supposed to know what their friends are up to, or who went where on vacation, or who is in a relationship with who? In order to stay up to date on all the latest news, a phone is necessary. They have so many uses. From Instagram to Twitter and Facebook, teens can spend hours on their phones because there is so much to do. A recent study has said that 73% of teens have access to smartphones. Why? Because most teens value all the uses of smartphones. Around the world, you can bet that where you find a teenager, you will find a cell phone. Honestly, we think that parents and adults should just embrace it. Cell phones are an important part of teens' lives, so instead of trying to fight it, they should just go with the flow. YouTube is a real job. Do adults even know what YouTube is? Does anyone over 60 know what YouTube is or how it works? Probably not many. But for teens, watching videos on YouTube is as normal as watching shows on television. In fact, lots of teens probably would like to turn YouTube into their full-time jobs. Why? Because there is lots of money to be made on the video publishing site. Just look at Colleen Bollinger. She made $5 million in 2016 from her stand-up tour, Netflix series, and memoir deal, which all stemmed from YouTube. Markiplier, or Mark Fishbach, as YouTubers know him, made $5.5 million in 2016 from YouTube. He says that he wants to push himself into music and acting in the future. But all teens know where he got his start, and that is YouTube. YouTube has been the jumping board for several big-name stars, from Disney Channel darlings to MTV actors. YouTube has served as a platform for them to get themselves out there. With so much money up for grabs in the YouTube world, it only makes sense that people are quitting their jobs and starting their own channels on the platform. For most adults, the idea of quitting your job to upload videos to the internet may seem absurd, but for teens who grew up with YouTube, it makes perfect sense. If you love binge watching videos as much as we do, check out our new platform that we created just for you. Watch thousands of videos from your favorite channels, including The Trendy, The Things, The Taco, and The Richest, in one place with ad-free browsing. Sign up now to the Premium to get early access to these videos for free. See you soon! When you literally just can't. We don't know who invented the phrase, but teenagers everywhere thank you. For those days when you just can't get out of bed or muster up the energy to do homework from all 6 of your classes, the phrase, "I literally cannot," is the only thing that perfectly describes the mood. Adults definitely don't understand this, which is probably a good thing. Could you imagine a world where teachers and bank tellers and the president just said that they literally could not, and then didn't go to work that day? But as teenagers, you have the right to just check out for a little bit from time to time. The phrase has become so popular among teens that big-name news sites like Bustle have done long-form articles on the origin of the phrase. One scientific assumption says that the phrase describes the complete and sudden onset of the cessation of brain activity, which is brought about when you are under stress and fully affects you only for a short time. So there is actually a scientific origin for the phrase. The next time a parent or teacher asks you something and tells you that the phrase is not a good excuse, just tell them to look up the scientific origins. Even then, they probably still won't understand. Social media rejection is harsher than real-life rejection. Before social media, getting rejected was probably still hurtful. No one likes getting their advances shot down or their feelings not returned. But previously, rejection was kind of a one-time thing. You like someone, they told you that they didn't feel the same way, and then that was it. Rejection over social media is repetitive. Every teen knows that what you put on the internet tends to follow you around. So if you were brave enough to slide into someone's direct messages with a request for a date, you might end up with your messages screenshotted and displayed for everyone on the internet to see. With social media, there are so many ways to be rejected. Someone can tell you they don't like you over Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and more. It's like never-ending rejection. Every teen knows that the worst rejections are public. If your crush posts a picture with his new girlfriend, it feels like everyone knows that you were rejected. What's even worse is that other people will probably comment on how cute a couple they are, which cements your rejection even more. Rejection never feels good, but adults will never know the harsh sting of social media rejection like teens today. Feeling like college determines the rest of your life. For teens, it feels like one day you were sitting in your kindergarten class trying to choose which crayon you wanted to color with, and the next day, you were expected to pick out which college you wanted to go to and decide the rest of your life. Who can make such a big decision? When you are only in your teens and you're expected to pick a college major which will, in turn, determine what you do for the rest of your life, the whole thing can seem extremely overwhelming. And all that is only if you complete your college applications correctly. There are so many questions, and in some cases, essays that you have to complete before you can even begin to plan which college you will go to. Not to mention, in the US, you have to take standardized tests like the ACT and the SAT to get into school as well. For teens, it may seem like those tests were invented for the sole purpose of stressing you out. You are shoved into a room and expected to be able to answer hundreds of questions in a short time period. What could be worse? And when all of that is said and done, you are faced with the biggest decision of your life, which is where you will go to school in the fall. It's all too much. Having a squad is crucial. High school is hard. There are tests almost every week and homework every night. On top of academic work, there are so many social pressures that come along with starting high school. You often wonder, will you be cool? Will you make friends? Will you be able to find your classes? But when you have a group of friends by your side, all those concerns are a little less scary. Ask any teen and you will see, friends are one of the only ways to make it through high school with your sanity. Your squad will come in handy all throughout the 4 years of high school. Take football games for instance. No one wants to sit alone and watch a game for hours on end. Your squad will be great at keeping you company. Or when you have a crush on a guy or a guy at school. You probably don't want to go up to them and talk to them yourself. But all teens know that all you need is a good friend to go up to him and figure out how he feels about you before you ever make a move. Friends will definitely come in handy in the cafeteria. A lunch period alone can feel like a prison sentence. But with your squad by your side, lunch can be your best hour of the day. Parents just don't understand. Maybe when you were younger, you saw your parents as superheroes. They did, after all, do everything for you. But as you got older and into your teenage years, you probably started to notice that you were butting heads with your parents a little more than usual. Why? Because parents just don't get what it's like to be a teen these days. Arguing with your parents is a bit like a rite of passage for most teens. It's not that you don't love them, it's just that you feel like they don't understand you or what you are going through. Being a teenager is hard. You have to apply for college, you're going through puberty and experiencing some of your first loves and heartbreaks, so it's only natural that you would be a bit frustrated from time to time. But when you get home and all your parents want to talk about is why your room isn't clean, it becomes very apparent that they just don't understand. Or when someone writes something mean under one of your pictures on Instagram, parents can't begin to comprehend the amount of panic that sends teens into. But it's not their fault. The world was completely different when they were growing up. Snapchat is everything. Snapchat was created in 2011, and while it took a little time for it to really catch on, the app is in full swing now. Snapchat allows you to share what you are doing right in the moment. You don't have to worry about getting the picture perfect or retaking the photo 5,000 times to make sure it looks just right. With Snapchat, no one expects beauty. They just want to see what you're up to. It's the perfect way to document your day or share quick, funny little moments with friends. Parents certainly don't understand the app. There have been numerous articles published by publications like Family Share and Teen Safe that tell parents what they should know about Snapchat and what they should be watching out for. So it kind of goes without saying that when it comes to Snapchat, adults have no idea what's up. Have you ever tried to show your grandma how to use the filters? It's pretty much a lost cause, right? But that is part of the beauty of the app. The fact that it is almost completely adult-free sets it apart from apps like Facebook and Instagram and even Twitter. So teens everywhere, feel free to snap away, knowing your parents probably don't understand what that means anyway. Facebook is for parents. When Facebook first came out back in 2004, it was only for college students. In fact, you had to have a college email address to even be part of the site. But since then, Facebook has become a staple for almost everyone to have. But while teens have Facebooks, reports have shown that they are using them less and less. Piper Jaffray's 2016 Taking Stock with Teens Bimanual report received responses from 10,000 teens. The results showed that Facebook had seen the largest decline in usage of media platforms tested. Only 52% of teens said that they logged into Facebook monthly. Other teens have said that there are only 2 instances where they actually post on the platform. The first is if it has something to do with their family, like their mom tagged them in a picture and they need to respond, or they are posting to make themselves look like a good Samaritan, since college admissions teams often look at applicants' Facebook profiles. Other than that, teens would rather go over to platforms like Instagram or Snapchat to upload things about their daily lives. Recent research from Silver Surfers has also shown that Facebook is a favorite among those over 50, so naturally, teens aren't going there for fun anymore. Texting is necessary but stressful. In a world where pretty much everyone has a smartphone, texting is essential. If you want to be invited to any get-togethers, then you need to be on your phone because the invitation will probably come via text. And don't even get us started on what it's like to text your crush, especially when Apple released iMessaging and you can actually see those little bubbles when people are typing. It's like torture, waiting for the person to finish texting and send something back. It's even worse when the other person has their read receipts on and you can see that they read your message, but they still haven't responded. It makes you wonder, are they angry at me? Do they just not like me? Is our relationship over, or are they just busy? One single text can send you over into an overthinking, overanalyzing frenzy. Recent studies have also shown that often teenage girls' texts are about emotional matters, which can also be linked to anxiety and stress. So while you need to text to pretty much have any sort of social life as a teen, it's not always a pleasurable experience. But even though it may give you stress, you know you'll be lost without your trusted phone. That's it for 10 things only teenagers will understand. Could you relate to some of these topics? Let us know in the comments.